Quote, always when I play back my father's voice, it is with a professional rasp. It goes as it lays. Don't do it the hard way. My father advised me that life itself was a crap game. It was one of the two lessons I learned as a child. The other was that overturning a rock was apt to reveal a rattlesnake. As lessons go, those two seem to hold up, but not to apply. Unquote. A chronic emptiness, a perpetual capacity of living minute to minute, day by day, and not knowing why or how, letting go of the irrelevant details, any details for that matter, existing, just existing. Why can nothing not be the answer? Quote, I try to live in the now and keep my eyes on the hummingbird. I see no one I used to know, but then I'm not just crazy about a lot of people. I mean, maybe I was holding all the aces. But what was the game? Unquote. Silence is a dangerous language. Sometimes you crave it, but it eludes you. Sometimes it chooses you. It never happens when you want it. It has a tendency to leave you broken. Comfortable silences, though they exist, are very few. Quote, there was a silence. Something real was happening. This was, as it were, her life. If she could keep that in mind, she would be able to play it through, do the right thing, whatever that meant. That her life had been a single sexual encounter, one dreamed fuck, no beginnings or endings, no point beyond itself. She could remember it all, but none of it seemed to come to anything. She had a sense the dream had ended and she had slept on. It came to her that in the scenario of her life, this would be what was called an obligatory scene, and she wondered with distant interest just how long the scene would play. Unquote. What the hell is wrong with you? You know what? You actually love being this way. Why can't you be just normal? I want to understand. But don't repeat the same shit again, please. Goddamn, you are the fucking problem. Nothing else. Not the world, not other people, you and the mess you create in your head. Does this sound familiar? There are times when you feel guilty for feeling what you're feeling, wondering what is wrong with you. Till it doesn't. Till you stop feeling. Till everything becomes numb. Quote, for Christ's fucking sake, you know that. I didn't mean to be that way, she said after a while. You never mean to be anyway. It was always that way when he came by. But sometimes later, after he had left, the spectre of his joyless face would reach her. Talk about heart's needle would flash across her hapless consciousness all the images of what they might have been. Unquote. Quote, all right, Carter said. Stay here and kill yourself. Something interesting like that. Unquote. Quote, on those nights when Carter could not sleep, she lay perfectly still, her eyes closed, and waited for the moment when Carter would begin banging drawers, slamming doors, throwing a magazine across the bed where she lay. "You aren't waking me up," she would say then. "I'm not asleep." "Well, go to sleep, cunt. Go to sleep. Die, fucking vegetable." After that point, he would sleep. She would not. Unquote. Quote, "What's the matter?" Carter would ask when he saw her sitting in the dark at 2 or 3 in the morning, staring out at the dry wash. "What do you want? I can't help you if you don't tell me what you want." "I don't want anything. Tell me." "I just told you." "Fuck it then. Fuck it and fuck you. I'm up to here with you. I've had it. I've had it with the circles under your eyes and the veins showing on your arms and the lines starting on your face and your fucking menopausal depression. Don't say that word to me. Depression. And you are going to get old. You talk crazy anymore and I'll leave. Leave. For Christ's sake, leave." She would not take her eyes from the dry wash. "Alright. Don't," he would say then. "Don't. Why do you say those things? Why do you fight?" He would sit on the bed and put his head in his hands. "To find out if you are alive." In the heat, some mornings, she would wake with her eyes swollen and heavy, and she would wonder if she had been crying. Unquote. Play It As It Lays by Joan Didion is not an uplifting book by a long shot. But if everything in your life currently or ever is answered by just nothing, and you know what it means, this feeling, this nothingness, this absolute absence of any other thing that may fit, this is definitely something you should read. Or maybe watch. Yep, also a movie made in 1974 available on YouTube. Quote, "She did not decide to stay. She only failed to leave." Unquote. Quote, "She realized that she expected to die. All along, she had expected to die, as surely as she expected the planes would crash if she boarded them in bad spirit. She did not particularly believe in rewards, only in punishments, swift and personal." Unquote. Quote, "It seemed to her then that she was watching the dead center of the world, the quintessential intersection of nothing." Unquote. Quote, "Just so, I am what I am. To look for reasons is besides the point. I believe my sins are unpardonable. I have been disappointed in love. How could I answer? How could it apply? Nothing applies. What does apply, they ask me later, as if the word nothing were ambiguous, open to interpretation, a questionable fragment of an Icelandic ruin. They will misread the facts, invent connections, will extrapolate reasons where none exist. So, I sit down with facts." Unquote. Sometimes you do wish to apologize, to the ones who want to help. It's a two-way street though. Quote, "Where each believed the other a murderer of time, a destroyer of life itself." Unquote. Quote, "She wanted to tell him she was sorry, but saying she was sorry did not seem entirely adequate. And in any case, what she was sorry about seemed at once too deep and too evanescent for any words she knew, seemed so vastly more complicated than the immediate fact that it was perhaps better left unraveled. Unquote. And so, you eventually resign and let them decide your definition of you. Quote, I mean, there's something in your behavior, Maria. I would almost go so far as to call it. Freddie paused and lit a cigarillo with his gold Cartier lighter. When he spoke again, he measured each word. Almost go so far as to call it a very self-destructive personality structure. Unquote. Once again, this is Adya. If you've reached the end of the episode, you probably like what you're hearing. I would love to hear from you as well. Please reach me at the Instagram page for this podcast @What Saves Me From Drowning. And please don't forget to follow, share, like, review, rate according to wherever you're listening.